Hello everybody, as you may know, I have been investing a lot of the time in myself recently rather than video games or movies or whatever normal people do for entertainment, and because of that I have decided that talking all things existential might be an actual thing that I should do, especially the amount of people that I encounter online that will counter any kind of debate with seek a professional. So first of all, we are not gonna be telling anyone to go and see a psychologist because there is more than one way of existing, and unless I try to understand other people, the world will be a boring place. Let's place it like this. So I hope you enjoyed the background. Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York, and there is some sweet meditation music playing. One day when I have moved, I might include some candles as well. So we are gonna be talking about the kind of viewpoints that Mirta have found about emotions and her current emotional well-being of lacking them severely. So first of all, one thing that I have found is that there's no sadness without joy. There's that concept of Yin Yang, yet Western mentality seems to understand it differently. They think that it's the opposites, but instead of it being the opposites, it's cycles. It's like sun going around a mountain where you have shade turning. You have one side that's in sunlight and one side that's not in sunlight, and that's my human understanding of emotions. And this has been some other people have actually understood it the same way, but other people have also been on a very intense emotional journey. So effectively, in order for you to feel happiness, you have to feel sadness. If you crash really low, then you might get really high afterwards, or if you get very high, then you might crash really low. It's a pendulum swing. You can sort of stay in the middle. Your pendulum can be stable, or it can be swinging really wildly, but it's a pendulum. You can't just put yourself to the happiness side and keep it there without also being able to experience the sadness side. When you get really afraid of the backwards pendulum swing, what happens is your pendulum stops swinging practically at all, and I'm gonna call it cursed peace. So now that we have established how emotions work in my worldview of they're like yin yang, they're like a pendulum swing, there's no happiness without sadness, you can't try and get yourself to be happy all the time. You have to be sad at some points, or else you lose the ability to feel happy entirely. Now that we have established that, let's talk about the states of a lack of emotion. I can probably categorize lack of emotion into three places. The first one would be depression. Depression to me, because this isn't gonna be universal, is the lack of ability to feel anything good, or lack the ability to even feel the wish to live, to a point where your emptiness is at a painful level. You don't wanna get out and do things because nothing brings enjoyment, but at the same time, your emptiness hurts. This is a painful level of depression. I've been there once. You can also get yourself to an emotionless state where you feel empty. And this is a very weird thing to try and describe. It's not sad, it's not happy. It is legitimately empty. It feels like you ate the void. The void does not hurt. The void just makes you devoid of all the things And it is also an emotional state that I have managed to get myself into, because remember, the state of not being a state is still a state. It is still a state. Now, the third kind of state is the state that I managed to get myself into right now, which I am gonna call cursed peace. You know how when you get really, really upset and you go, I don't even want to be happy, I just want to feel peace. Well, Mirta found peace, and she would like to put the peace back in the drawer and close the drawer. It can also be called tranquility, equilibrium. It's distinct from you feeling in pain. It's distinct from you feeling empty, as you do not feel empty. You do feel quite full. If anything, you feel content. But the contentment is rather cursed, because you still have an emotional range. It's just about -5% of your middle, effectively. So whenever people ask me, I can always say, I feel fine, because I do. I do. There's not like a single sad note in that melody, but that is the point. I cannot crash myself. If I want to feel sad, I can feel sad, but I cannot cry. I cannot be truly upset. At the same time, if I want to feel happy, I can feel happy. In fact, most of the time I feel some amount of happy. Hence why cursed peace. But it's not a ha 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 happy, it's just It's the kind of politeness smile that you would get in a performance that you might not be losing your mind over. You're okay to be there. But that's the thing. It is cursed peace. The emotional state of cursed peace. Now, here's the thing with Yin Yang, and here's the thing with life cycles, is that the cycle of emotionless existence gives way to the cycle of emotion existence. One cannot be without the other once again, so when you lose your emotional range, you are gonna turn back and regain it at some point. So it is more or less the experience that you take from it, and from feeling, and from not feeling, that then you can carry it over to compare things better too, and to understand better things about yourself. If I never felt depression, then I could not compare cursed peace to the void. If I never felt empty, I could never compare cursed peace to emptiness. And if I never had a huge emotional range, then I would have never known that I am in a period where I do not have said emotional range almost whatsoever, or what it feels to lose that. Human experience needs that. It needs humans experiencing it. And we're in this very weird society that instead of experiencing something and going, that is a weird experience, let me share and let me talk about it, we go, that experience is abnormal to what we consider to be normal, therefore seek professional help. This whole series is gonna be on the complete opposite spectrum of that. We're gonna take, whenever Mirta gets information on something and has breakthroughs about human life in general, we're gonna take a concept and we're gonna explore everything that I know and that I have experienced, that I have felt about a concept, and we're gonna package that into a package and put it out to the internet to then take the concept, internalize it, break it down, and analyze it depending on their own personal experiences. Because once again, people do not experience anything in the same way. We are so obsessed with putting things into boxes and going, this is the normal human experience, when I am not too sure whether the normal human experience is even a thing. There are behaviors that are normal, and there's the way that we're ordering our society that is normal, but as long as you fit into that range, you're not a clone of somebody else. How somebody else feels, how somebody else dictates their life and plays their life, not necessarily how you should live yours. It is not necessarily how you feel, and it is not necessarily how you process that information. We should celebrate and we should discuss these differences in order to understand human existence better in general, rather than shoving it into a box of this is abnormal and leaving it there. Therefore, this is what this video is trying to do. Have you experienced any emotional ranges that I have not currently described? How do you feel about my description of possible emotional ranges and lack thereof, and my understanding and worldview of it? Do you find the cyclical nature of periods to be more correct, or do you feel like people fall into the wrong period and have trouble getting out, and it's not cyclical, it is right versus wrong, which is more of a Western mentality, while I decided to adopt more of a cyclical mentality. It's kind of like time, really, but time is a whole different subject. So anyways, this has been my musings and my ponderings. Don't take this for psychological advice. I am not a psychologist. I don't have education in that field. This is Mirta's own personal life path and explorings of herself put online. Don't take it anything as more than that. Thank you for watching.